Hey everyone, this is Nick on Control Nick. Have you ever heard of XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP and you're not exactly sure what the difference is between the two? Well, I'm going to show you here in this video, and I'm also going to show you why you'll only use XLOOKUP moving forward. Let's head over to the Excel workbook that we've created to show you exactly what the difference is. Okay, now we're in the workbook, and as you can see, we have a bit of information here. So just to orient you a little bit, to the left, we have two example tables, and that's just going to be where we put in the formulas to compare VLOOKUP versus XLOOKUP, what they can do and what they cannot do. And then over to the right, you have just a simple data set. So we're only using 5 different columns here and 13 rows. So it's a small data set, but all the logic that we apply in this example can actually be applied to a data set that has 100 columns and 1,000 rows. So what I first want to do is show you what's possible to do in VLOOKUP. So what I want to do is pull the different information of a specific item name. So based off of column F here, you have different types of grocery products and bathroom products and so forth, maybe from a list from a grocery store. And you want to pull specific to that name, the demand, the stock, the item cost, and even the category that that name belongs to. Let's go over to the VLOOKUP example table. So conveniently, I have a name drop-down list. So let's use cookies as the information that you want to pull for. Now, let's start doing our VLOOKUP formula, which is equals VLOOKUP parenthesis. Now, for VLOOKUP, you start off with what do you want to pull based off of a reference value. So here we want to start up with cookies as the value we're going to be looking up. And then for VLOOKUP, you need to do a table array based off of your reference value. So meaning that over here, we need to start in column F and starting at the very top and then dragging all the way down to the bottom right of wherever you want to have the last table array column to pull from. So we're just going for bananas all the way down to the last item cost because that's the full table set. I'm going to lock that in. And then what's very specific also about VLOOKUP is then you need to use the column number. So your column number starts with the reference array column, meaning that column F is number 1. And if we want to pull demand, we need to then put in column number 2. Lastly, we want to pull the exact match. So typically what you want to do is type in false, or else it will pull an approximate match. And you don't want to use an approximate match 9 times out of 10. So we'll always use the exact match for this example. When I press enter, you'll notice that demand is pulling medium. And as you can see here, and we can actually highlight that for simplicity, you can see that medium is correct. So our VLOOKUP formula is working. What I'll do is for stock and item cost, I'm going to just adjust the formula slightly. So for example, for stock, we know that that is the next column over. So that would be column 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to change the formula in the stock cell to the number 3. For item cost, then I'll just do the same thing because we know that item cost is columns 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I'm going to change the formula so that it's pulling from column 4. As simple as that. VLOOKUP is pretty easy, but as you'll notice, you need to know the exact column numbers in reference in order to pull the right data. So, of course, in this example, it's very straightforward, but if you have a data set with 100 columns, it can get pretty tricky. Now, we want to pull the category, which is in column E. So let's go through the VLOOKUP formula again, and we'll see where the limitation becomes. So I'm going to do equals VLOOKUP parenthesis. Again, we're still pulling for cookies. And now we need to do the table array. So we still need to start with the reference column, and the category, though, is in column E. So we're going to have to pull backwards with this table array. I'm going to lock that in. And now we need to do what column is category in this table array for this formula. And that's the problem. We can't do number 2 because that would mean we're starting from category and always looking to the right because VLOOKUP always looks to the right from the starting point. And we can't do a negative column. So just to show you, -2 is what we could put in there. And again, we'll do false, so we get the exact match, and it pulls an error. That is a huge limitation for VLOOKUP because once again, if you have a data set that has 100 different columns and you're starting with column number 7, but you still need key information from columns to the left, VLOOKUP cannot do that for you. So we're limited to all of the columns that are only to the right of that naming reference in column F. But now let's show what's possible in XLOOKUP. So again, I'm going to pull cookies. Now let's do the XLOOKUP formula. So equals XLOOKUP, parenthesis. We're going to use the reference of cookies. And this is where the difference starts. So rather than doing a full table array, you just do the column that has cookies sitting with it. So you want the reference column for that reference value. So I'm going to highlight just this column here. I'll lock the cells. And then, again, the difference is now you only pull the column that you're interested in. So since we're interested in demand, I'm only going to pull or reference this array here for column G, lock it, close parenthesis. That's all. Enter, and you'll notice that it's the same value as the VLOOKUP, so both are pulling in the exact same way. The simple part about XLOOKUP is I'm just going to copy and paste this down because we've locked the cells, so everything will just pull medium for the time being. And if you're interested in learning how to lock cells, I have a video that I would suggest that you go to learn a little more about that. But so now we've copied down the formula from demand to stock, and all we need to do now is drag our reference list over. Same thing with item cost. I'm just going to drag the reference over. Now you can see we have the exact same values again. So medium 220 and 4.5 item cost, XLOOKUPs, medium 220 and 4.5 item cost. Now this is where you really get to use the benefit of XLOOKUP. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste down one more time, and I'm actually just going to pull over here. Now you can see we can pull category. So XLOOKUP is actually able to look either left or right, whereas VLOOKUP cannot. So hope it was a simple explanation, and that is actually the main difference of VLOOKUP versus XLOOKUP. And to be honest, I don't use VLOOKUP anymore. I purely use XLOOKUP, and I would advise that you do too. I do really hope this video helps you a little bit more with understanding the differences of the two formulas. If you want to get more in depth with XLOOKUP as well as how to lock cells, then feel free to click on either of the videos above. Consider liking and subscribing if you want to know more, and feel free to check out other Excel videos on my channel. Have a great day.